It's showtime, folks. Welcome in, Chase and Big Joe, 1025, 1063. The game. We are live today at the Grove. The Live Tour is in town, and they're all out on the course right now. We're excited to be here. JoJo, what's up? And we're in for Stillman and Company today.
Oh, it's beautiful. A great crowd, great atmosphere. I mean, this is how you do it. It's perfect out here today. Perfect.
Well, let's go ahead and just kick it off. Troy Tutt, the Senior Vice President of Ticketing and Hospitality for Live Golf, is here with us. Troy, thanks so much for having us. I know you all have to be thrilled with the turnout. There's a ton of people out here today.
Nashville comes strong.
Go ahead.
Nashville comes strong. There's no doubt about it. This was earmarked on our schedule. We are excited about it. We know that professional golf doesn't come through this neck of the woods too often. And literally from day one, so we kicked off, I was here personally, we kicked off things with the members here at the Grove, kicking off our hospitality and the way they embraced us in our tournament right off the get-go. And it's been solid from day one, even ticket sales right up today for the rest of the weekend. So a big thanks to Nashville and Tennessee because they love their professional golf.
For somebody, we've done tournaments. Chase and I have been at tournaments. Usually, all the directors are stressed out. You look great. I mean, is it going that well?
Sure. That sounds good. I'm glad that's what's showing on the outside. But no, we have a great team. They work their tails off putting events like this, and we're a little bit of a traveling circus. This is one of 14. We're right at the halfway mark of the season. We've been to places like Hong Kong and Singapore,
Wow.
and Australia, and we're going to be in Spain and UK, finishing up the season in Chicago and Dallas. So we have a long ways to go to be perfect, but we're starting to get to our stride a little bit, being a couple of years in now.
Is there a little bit of trepidation when we arrive in a new city like this? Like, how well is it going to go?
Yeah, we try to do a lot of analytics and research coming into it just to understand market by market where the potential is on a variety of levels. And this one stood out. This was always one of the better markets out there. And I'm glad that the data was correct. The one thing that's interesting is the fans here in Tennessee are strong, but we actually have ticket buyers from over 20 different countries coming to this event and a ticket buyer from all 50 states. And so I think that's what a lot of folks and markets are seeing is that, whether you look at your sports commissions or whatever it might be, is the fan base that we're bringing into the town and allowing that city or that region to expose themselves and show off, from the hotel stays to the restaurants and everything else. We're happy to help the economy out and draw in those new eyeballs.
Troy Tutt is with us, the SVP of Ticketing and Hospitality with Live Golf. So when you were kind of looking at Nashville, I mean, look, you've probably heard people say this. There's a thirst for golf here. I mean, we've had the Corn Ferry Tour for several years now, but never a major event, and there has certainly been a thirst for it. So did you look at some of the metrics and talk to people of how that event has done, and did that help you kind of base your decision on coming to Nashville?
And we certainly understand, previous events that took place here. That is one certainly data point that we look at. But I think it was just really in general of, professional golf. I mean, just think about how many options are in the US. Right. I mean, you want to go see professional golf, you can get there within a 1 hour flight of almost anywhere you live at some point throughout the season. And, if you look at, this market, and Corn Ferry Tour is great. We believe bringing quite a bit of a different product into town, and so we're seeing it just from the reactions from the fans out there. I was walking the course quite a bit today, and they love it. Outside of it being a little bit warm, the energy is pretty high.
How much did ticket sales maybe go up last Sunday afternoon after Bryson DeChambeau won the U.S. Open? I'm sure that didn't hurt.
No, it didn't hurt at all. And trust me, as the guy who oversees ticketing, I was refreshing Sunday. I was fortunate to go to the U.S. Open on Sunday, so I was there. I just happened to set up shop underneath that tree that Bryson hit under on 18. So I just was fortunate to stand behind there. And what he's doing, and by the way, at least as of 10 minutes ago, he's leading right now, which I kind of joked. I wonder if he was going to get himself out of the bottom 10 because I can, his energy has to be zapped, but it just goes to show the guy's an absolute machine out there. And the way he won with class, and I can tell you that is Bryson through and through. That's not any showmanship. He is so appreciative and genuine and understanding of like where he's been in his career
Right.
and his life and challenges with his dad passing, a couple of years ago, and he's very vocal mentioning that with David Faraday in an interview, and about Singapore last year. He was, in a tough spot, and that's what Live Golf has brought is that team aspect of it. Normally, and you'll hear, I just heard it with the women's tour, this word of like loneliness, right? A lot of times they travel all around, but it's an independent sport, just like tennis, right? But now we bring this team aspect, and if guys having, I mean, they're humans, we're all humans, right? If they're having a bad day, a bad week, a bad month, they have truly teammates around them to lift them up. And Bryson talks about that with his team last year. Charles Howell and all the guys lift him up when he was in tough space last year. So it's really neat to see that for the first time ever in professional golf, having this team atmosphere, and they're truly bonding that way.
Why does it, sorry,
Go ahead.
why does this work? Because example, we had a company, charity golf tournament yesterday. We're hooting, we're hollering, we're screaming. Is that why Live Golf works? Because I tell you, I mean, people are loving this.
Yeah, I think, it's so funny, the music aspect, right? So actually, let me ask you guys, how many speakers do you think we have around the course right now?
I mean, I hear something everywhere, so I would.
180.
Actually pretty close, 150 to 200 speakers. Well done. Around the entire course playing music. And some folks will say, well, that's weird. That's not golf. It's like, well, when you go out and play right now, either you or the person you're playing with has a portable speaker that's teed up on their golf cart, and you guys are listening to music. And so we're just trying to meet the golf community where they already are. And music is just part of that lifestyle. And you can see, well, every once in a while, a speaker goes out, or we have a generator or something, and music goes down in the hole. Everybody kind of looks around and is like, this is a little weird, right? And then music comes back on. They're like, oh, good, we're back into it, right? So I think it's just become a way of life. And once again, we're not trying to replace any other professional golf that's out there. We're just additive.
Sure.
We're different. We think there's something for everyone. And I think the reason why it works is because we are bringing the fun to it. And our Live Golf players are part of the Live Golf family. I think they candidly have a bit more fun, and they interact with the fans a little bit more. And we had our welcome party earlier this week. We were downtown as our kickoff kind of to the pro event. Bryson took the stage, and he had a very genuine little speech to the whole crowd, and really talked about how valuable Live Golf has been and the brotherhood that all the players have at Live Golf. And it was actually really kind of chilling to watch and listen to him. And he was very appreciative of what Live Golf has provided in that brotherhood, and the amount of support he received from the players post US Open win. He said he doesn't feel like he would have gotten that in the past.
That's really cool. How much though has having established stars like Bryson, like Mickelson, there's so many others. How much did that help make this what it already has become in such a short amount of time? Because I feel like when you see a new league or new something start, and you're literally starting from the bottom, they don't have as much success. So how important was that buy-in from some of these established guys?
I think it's massive. You need that additional draw to the product to expose folks to it. And, if it was a name or no name, not so popular out there, it's hard to get that, even though the product may still be just as good. It would be harder to get them through the door or through the gates, right, to expose to it. So you get guys like, Phil, who was one of the first ones to really, put his nose out there, but everyone from DJ to Cam and, Brooks, obviously, all those guys made a big difference. I think, you look at someone like John Rahm, he came over this past off season. That was a big move. And, some folks thought that he would just run away with things, and, he's challenged out there, and that's what we like. There's not one guy that's dominant on our tour right now. Every week there's somebody different. So it's good, I think, from that starting point, but now you're seeing this good spread of quality golf across all 54 guys.
One more before I let you go. People want to come out this weekend. Tickets still available?
Barely. So livegolf.com, we're wiped out tomorrow, Saturday. I wish I could open up more, but we're tapped out. So Sunday is the last opportunity. I think there's candidly a handful of grounds tickets out there, some hospitality, but come on out. We know it's warm. Please you can bring an empty bottle. We got refill stations. The quality of the golf, but also the quality of comfort is important to us. So come on out, stay hydrated, enjoy some great golf and some music. And oh, by the way, we got Dan and Shay after play tomorrow night. So we got music happening too.
What's the website again?
Livegolf.com.
Livegolf.com.
Awesome. Troy, thanks so much for doing this, and thanks for having us here today.
Love having you guys here. Appreciate it.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
appreciate it. Troy Tutt, SVP Ticketing and Hospitality with Live Golf, joining us. It's Chasing Big Joe in for Jared today. Stillman and Company will have much more ahead. 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game here on this Friday. In for Stillman and Company today. We're live at the Live Tour. out at the Grove. And what county are we in? Williamson County, I guess.
I guess Williams
Is that right?
Yeah, we're in a county that I'm not allowed to live in, but can't afford anything.
Yeah, I was about to say not allowed or can't afford or
One of those.
one of those things. But appreciate the folks from Live for having us today.
Yes.
Really
That
cool.
was good right
I mean,
there.
it's a cool, very cool event, that's in our city and the first major golf event. The LPGA used to be out at Opryland, right? Or
Senior PGA was at
Senior
Opryland, LPGA was at the Hermitage.
at Hermitage. Yeah,
Yes.
that's right. Where we were yesterday.
That's right.
So definitely cool to have that here. But look, we're excited to Jared's gonna be back on Monday, but we're in for him today. We got a fun show plan, including who's coming up next. This is gonna be fun.
We got Glenn Jacobs. He's the mayor of Knox County, better known as Kane.
By God, that's gotta be Kane.
He's going to join us at 3:30 talking about vol baseball and just how the city, we're not going to bring up the P word, the parade. We're not going to bring that up because we're not going to see if you got plans for any of that stuff. No.
No politics. We're just gonna, talk to Kane.
Yeah, we'll talk to him. No, we're not going to about you have plans for a parade yet? None of that stuff. None of that,
for the Vol.
yeah, none of that stuff. We're not gonna like touching the Stanley Cup and all that stuff,
Yeah.
but how the city's embraced that, and which is kind of the effect of what it is for the city for the Vols getting this far. I mean, it's the first time they've been, winning a championship. What the Lady Vols won in 07 or something right in there. I mean, football 98.
Yeah.
So this will be a lot of fun. I have fun talking to him as well. And then at 3:50ish, we'll go to Omaha and talk to quite possibly the biggest Vols super fan in America, who's been out in Omaha now for a week and is yet to be arrested. So kudos to that. We'll talk to Jason Carey just for a few moments at 3:50. He's the mayor of Lebanon Road.
Okay.
So he's
All right.
out there. He's a
All right.
huge fan.
We're looking forward to that. Well, Ian is here. We haven't given Ian his proper introduction. Ian, what's up?
Hello, hello. How are you guys doing?
We're fantastic, man. We're glad to be hanging out with you. I know you've missed Jared probably, but it's been a little quieter for you this week.
Yeah, it's been we love Jared and he works hard and he's great to work with, but everybody loves a good change of pace here and there. So it's been nice
feel
getting
that.
to work with a few of the people around the station. It's been cool.
Yeah, feel that. And by the way, received some nice notes about the Forest Company guys and, Jake and who has stepped in a lot this week. And so the future is very bright here at 102.5.
It is.
So excited about that. All right, coming up next, we're going to talk to the mayor of Knox County, Glenn Jacobs, better known as WWE Hall of Famer Kane. We will do that ahead. It's Chase and Big Joe in for Stillman and Company, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Jason Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, the game in today for Stillman and Company. We're live, of course, at the Grove here for the Live Tour, but excited about what's going to be happening this weekend in Omaha as the Tennessee Volunteers look to win the College World Series. And we thought, okay, let's do something unique.
Yes.
You hear the music. Let's talk to the mayor of Knox County. Glenn Jacobs is on the line with us, and he's better known, of course, to me and my wrestling crowd as Kane. Mr. Mayor, how are you?
Hey, doing great. How are y'all?
Doing fantastic. Thanks so much for doing this. And, I don't know how many speaking engagements you get introduced as Glenn Jacobs or as Kane, but I'm sure it's a mixed bag.
It sure is. It depends on the audience and the venue, but both.
Well, I'm glad you answered to both. But what's kind of it been like around Knoxville with the run that the Vols have made in Knox County? I know it has to be exciting to see them, just a couple of wins away from being national champions.
Yeah, it's super exciting. Anytime that Tennessee athletics does well, it's good for our community. We saw it with basketball when they were ranked number one a few years ago, as well as football when they did so well and are really on the upswing. And now the Vols, the baseball is just, my goodness, they're a juggernaut. They've become arguably the top program in the country. Tony Vitello might be the best coach in all of college baseball. So it's really exciting to see.
We're talking to Glenn Jacobs, the mayor of Knox County. Mr. Mayor, what's the effect of a run like this? Do you see it now? Do you see it in a month? How does this all work?
Well, obviously, really what it does is there's some intangibles. People just feel better about themselves, their civic pride, something to be proud of. We'll see more people eating out, staying in town, coming to the games and all that sort of thing. So it's good for our economy. But like I said, it just kind of helps the morale of everybody. Not only, I think, in Knoxville, East Tennessee, really across the entire state.
I'm going to ask you probably the easiest and softest question of all time. When the university is running on all cylinders like it is now with, baseball, football, basketball, how much more fun is it for your job, your staff, and for the city?
Yeah, it's great. Danny White's done a tremendous job as AD. I harken back to the years when the Lady Vols were just the powerhouse in women's basketball with the three-peats and everything. And, that really put Knoxville on the map as the epicenter of women's basketball, women's collegiate basketball. It'd be pretty cool if we could do the same thing now with men's baseball. But again, my job is a lot more fun because, just people are all talking about it, seeing what's happening. And again, I think just the entire community, really everybody feels good right now.
The mayor of Knox County, Glenn Jacobs, and WWE Hall of Famer Kane is on the line with us. So, obviously your main job now is to be the mayor of Knox County, but you still show up from time to time at different WWE events. How special is it that you're able to put the mask back on and kind of play both worlds, and they help each other at times, but how awesome is it that you get to do that?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I have my foot in two different worlds, not only with politics and government, but also still a little bit in entertainment, professional wrestling. That makes me unique. And what's kind of cool is sometimes when the politics gets me a little down, I can be like, well, at least I can have fun in the other world. But they also complement each other. I'm able to do some things that I think are really unique as far as bringing some entertainment value to the office of Knox County Mayor, which no one else could do, obviously. I can do some stuff to really promote that in ways that other folks can't. So it really is cool.
WWE has entered a new era, as they're calling it, with Triple H, a guy that you fought many times. Maybe he was an ally at times, on screen. But what's kind of been your thoughts of what Paul Levesque, Triple H, has done with WWE since he's pretty much been in power?
Yeah, Tripp has the best mind in the wrestling business. It's amazing. And I think that the entertainment value of WWE has really just gone through the roof. There's been a sea change across the entire product line. We saw that with NXT when he was running NXT, and now we're seeing it on the main roster as well. Again, I cannot speak highly enough about his booking and wrestling acumen. It's truly amazing, and I don't think there's a better person to be in charge of the creative component of the company right now.
We're talking to Glenn Jacobs here on the Jason Big Joe Show on 102.5, 106 the game. Mr. Mayor, I didn't pay attention in civics class. I don't think Chase did either. What's the difference between the Knox County mayor and the Knoxville mayor?
So they're two different governments. And even though the city of Knoxville is geographically in Knox County, it's a separate political entity. It confuses people because in Tennessee we have county mayors. They're in other states as well. They're just called judges, judge executive, county executive. But basically, we run everything in the unincorporated areas of our particular jurisdiction, our particular county.
Oh, okay. Very cool. All right, Mr. Mayor, what are your plans for this weekend and watching the Vols take on Texas A&M in Omaha?
Well, I'm just going to enjoy it. Hopefully we don't have the drama like we had with the walk-off win against Florida State. But also hoping for a big victory, man, and they can bring back the College World Series title in Knoxville. That'd be pretty dadgum amazing.
Yeah. How many years have you been the mayor of Knox County now, sir?
It's going on 6 years.
6 years. What have you learned about that job and about yourself in those 6 years?
It's a great job. I've had the two best jobs I think that anyone could ever have. WWE superstar and also the mayor of Knox County, Tennessee. At the same time, we're talking about UT Athletics, and to see the resurgence of UT Athletics across the various platforms has been really neat. And to, I talk with Randy Boyd, who's the president of UT. I talk with him every once in a while. And Randy always teases that when UT Athletics is doing well, he's the best university president in the country. When they're not doing so well, he's not, even though he doesn't really control that other than making the hires. But it's just neat to see all the momentum and the enthusiasm. When we went through a very tumultuous period with UT football, which eventually led to the hiring of Josh Heupel, as well as Danny White as the AD. And that almost seemed like it ushered in a new era for UT Athletics. So it's really going to be cool to see and interesting. And really, I'm really optimistic about the future of the University of Tennessee Athletics.
Did we lose him?
No, I'm still here. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you now. Sorry, you kind of faded out there for a second.
Yeah.
WWE Hall of Famer Kane and the mayor of Knox County, Glenn Jacobs, is on the line with us. So you can probably guess that I asked the wrestling questions and he asked everything else. But WWE did a really cool documentary a few years ago on you and how they created the Kane character. Because look, I remember the Dennis character that you did, and the fake Diesel, and there were all these different things, and then you become this character synonymous with WWE and the Undertaker. What was those early days like when you knew you were going to debut, you were going to be the brother of the Undertaker, you had Paul Bearer with you, and then history just kind of made its own course, and you were able to do that for 20 to 25 years?
You want to say that in the moment, you realize that all that was going to happen, and you're excited and anticipating great things in the future. But things move so quickly, especially at that point in WWE, that my main concern was doing a good job that night and then showing up the next night and doing a good job there as well. So all of that's really just a blur to me at this point. I do think back to that debut and how the table was just set for the Kane character. I mean, if I couldn't pull that off, that was actually my last shot. So there was a lot of pressure on me. But at the same time, now you look back, you're like, man, that was literally historic. And I think that's one of my biggest regrets, actually, is that I wasn't able to slow down enough to think and to absorb what was happening. The Attitude Era, obviously, the greatest time in WWE history. I mean, for 2 years, we sold out every arena that we went to around the world. But again, we really weren't thinking about that. We were just thinking about doing everything that we could to be the best, then moving on. It's always funny. People talk about the Monday Night Wars and how great it was. Well, it wasn't great if you were involved in it, because if we lost the Monday Night Wars, we were probably out of a job. But at the same time, that kind of pressure really made you perform much better than you otherwise would have. So looking back now, I really enjoy it. At the time, it was work, man, just trying to do the best you could.
And you actually had like 2 incarnations of Kane, because when you took the mask off, the character went in a completely different direction. So how fun was that to kind of reinvent yourself, like at the, kind of the halfway point of your career?
Sure. Then you move ahead to the Team Hell No stuff, and really were able to add a comedic element to the show and a different dimension to Kane. I always thought that was a challenge, because I think that people would look at me and, he could do this, but he was very limited as a performer. That's all he could do. So what was neat about taking the mask off and putting the mask back on, then being with Daniel Bryan, which again was pretty much a different character, was that I was able to break the mold and to show folks that I had range as a performer, that they probably didn't think that I had. And you're exactly right. There really were multiple incarnations of Kane, but the big difference was the masked Kane and the unmasked Kane. And they were almost, completely different characters. It had the name and kind of the history and some of the legacy, but otherwise, the personality and all that stuff was completely different. People ask me why did I ever take the mask off? Well, because I was getting stale, frankly, and that really breathed new life into my career. But who would have thought that I'd still be doing that, 25 years later or whatever it was.
We're talking to Glenn Jacobs. He's the mayor of Knox County. And sir, one of my best friends, and I've forgiven you for this, is Reno Riggins. And I think one of your first wins in WWF was beating Reno. So I've forgiven you. We've come a long way. So thank you.
So, well, hey, man, actually, I owe Reno a lot. This would have been, I guess, 1995. I was on Smoky Mountain Wrestling. I had a tryout match with WWE, and Reno was my opponent. And that match went really well. The main reason was because he was a terrific performer. So he pretty much helped give me my job in WWE. So thank you for forgiving me, but thank you to Reno too for helping me get a big break there.
Was that right after the Undertaker saw you in Smoky Mountain Wrestling? Is that how you got the tryout?
That was actually, I think that was actually before Undertaker and I had our match in Smoky Mountain Wrestling. And I think that probably helped actually lead to that match, because I think that piqued Mark's interest and curiosity about this big guy and whether he could have a good match with me or not.
You guys obviously are close in your careers and the storylines, whether you're against each other or with each other as brothers of destruction. How close did you become out of the ring?
Oh yeah, we're pretty good friends. Anytime that I need something, I call him, and I think that he feels the same way. And I'm really, really glad now. Mark, it's cool that for years he was so protective of the Undertaker and that character. That he never did anything out in public outside of that persona. And it's cool now that he's doing things. He has his one Dead Man show. He does his podcast, which is really popular. So I think it's cool too that people, kind of like with me, they can see the person behind the Undertaker. And I think the old school thought is, well, that destroys the character, the persona. I don't think it does. I think what it does is it actually adds to it, that people can see there's a real person behind this and what that person is really like. And I'm really glad that he's had those opportunities and has taken advantage of them.
Well done. Mr. Mayor, one more question. We'll let you go. And I know you're busy, and thank you for doing this. It means a lot to Chase and I. All right, what's your feeling? What's your vibe for this baseball team starting tomorrow night in Omaha?
Oh, I think they're going to win, man. They find a way to win. They're having fun. They've got some great players. Christian Moore might be the best player in college baseball, and they perform under pressure. That's the thing. A lot of times you see teams, and if they're down 4 runs or whatever in the 9th inning, they're going to wilt. But not these guys. They come out and they get it done. So I think Texas A&M is going to have a very uphill climb in front of them, and I think the Vols will come home as the College World Series champions.
Well, Mr. Mayor, this has been a lot of fun. Thanks so much for doing this. And I hope that Jerry Lawler was able to find another private dentist because you got a lot going on. But, thanks. I had to.
You
I had
did have to
throw
bring
it in
that
there.
up, didn't you? At least at the end of the interview. Hey,
If
thanks
you
a
know,
lot,
you
guys.
know.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
WWE Hall of Famer Kane and the Mayor of Knox County, Glenn Jacobs, joining us here on the show. A lot of fun. And
Yes.
how funny is it? You talk about Reno all the time.
Yep.
That
Great.
was like one of those matches. And then there's, for those of you that remember, Jerry Lawler, one of the storylines was he had a private dentist named Isaac Yankum, DDS, and that was, was
So great.
Jacobs. So
Thank you. Very gracious of his time and replied back immediately, and we got him on. So excited for that. All right, we're going to go to Omaha. When we come back, we're going to talk to the mayor of Lebanon Road, who's been in Omaha, the biggest Tennessee sports fan there is. Checks, he's been in Omaha for a week, has not been arrested. So we'll talk to Jason Carey next.
we'll do that here on the Chasing Big Joe show in the afternoon. In for Stillman and Company, 1025, 1063 The Game. Jason Big Joe in for Stillman and Company today. 1025, 1063 The Game. We're out at the Grove Golf Course, the Live Tour, as it is in our city. But right now, Joe, it's time to go to Omaha.
Yeah, let's go to Omaha. I'm bringing the mayor of Lebanon Road, the biggest Tennessee sports fan I know. Jason Carey's out there. He's been there for a week, has not been arrested. Jason, how's it going, brother?
Man, it couldn't be better, man. We're live. I'm down the street from that Rocco's place where they're doing the Jello shot challenge. You know, we got the had to get the camper up here from the farm. You know, and we made it happen, but we've been parked all week. We having a big time, all of us farmers out here. I thought about setting up a fruit stand out here, man. We selling all kinds of stuff. Everything.
How
all right
have you
back home?
survived a week in Omaha already without getting in trouble? Or have you gotten in trouble? I just haven't read about it.
Oh, no, sir. No trouble here. No, we followed the rules. I got a little upset. My phone, my iPhone, my ticket, that North Carolina game got stuck on that iPhone. And I told that lady, I said, the world was a lot easier place when we could just print out my paper ticket and I walked in. But we've got it figured out. I got fired up there, but it's all right.
All right, what's the vibe of Vol Nation on a Friday night in Omaha before the College World Series, Jason?
Oh, man, the vibe up here is live, man. We got a lot of high-energy people up here. I think all the Chris Fowler Trailer Park Trash people, we got all the campers and the trailer trash and the orange and the camo. They coming out of the woodworks to come see this baseball team because it's going to be about winning. We're going to walk in there. We're going to smack them around. We're going to roll down to Texas A&M in football. We'll smack them with Nico, too. So everybody's fired up for greatness. The Vols are back. LFG, we're about to win this whole thing. Selfishly, I
We're
hope
talking
it
to
goes to
Jason
game
Carey.
3.
He's the mayor of Lebanon Road, the biggest Tennessee sports fan around. All right, Jason, if Vol people are headed to Omaha tonight, where's the party? What kind of party are we having tonight?
Well, the party, you can go to that Rocco's and you can do that Jello shot challenge. Now, you need to be careful down there. I don't stay in there long because it can get real rowdy in there. But, yeah, man, you can go to the hotel. The Vols have a pep rally. They're at the Marriott. So you can go in there. They got a pep rally over there, and then they got a lot of tailgates set up. And like I said, you just walk around. You'll find a bunch of big orange flags with the campers. And like I said, all of us big orange trailer park trash people, we up here having a big time. So just bring a cup and come on.
Are you? Has it been fun because there's been no baseball since Wednesday? So are you guys keeping your sanity?
Oh, yeah, man. Everybody's doing their work on their computer. They're having a big time during the day. And then, we get up, get your exercise in, get a workout in, go get you some breakfast, walk around and, do a little shopping and, you just kind of figure it out as you go. But it's been a blast, dude.
We're talking to Jason Carey out in Omaha right now. Jason, who's the biggest celebrity? Have you talked to Peyton any?
Haven't seen Peyton. Last time I saw Peyton, we were up there at the Lindsey Nelson Stadium, 2 legends, 1 stall. I let Peyton go ahead and use it. He had a lot of people wanting to see him and talk to Peyton. But yeah, I've seen Peyton before. It's not a big deal. Me and Peyton, I wouldn't say we're boys or anything, but he knows who I am.
Well, he should because you're the biggest Tennessee super fan around. All right, Jason, one final question. All right, your big party tonight, what's going on? What's your vibe about your baseball team? Are you going to do it in 2, do it in 3? Or are they going to get it done?
I think, look, I respect all opponents. I respect them. I do worry. I mean, everybody's hot. Everybody's tired. I could see it going to a game 3, come after the weekend. I think at this point, man, it's going to be, you got to work hard. You got to want it other than the other team. And that's really what it's going to come down to. We've coached him up, Coach Vitello. I tell you what, he's got that Italian bloodline. His whole family's up here. They're good people. Like I said, they've got a lot of good roots from Missouri, and he's, Arkansas, and he's bounced around, but he's a good old guy. And like I said, they'll take on the mentality of their coach, and I know their coach wants to win more than anybody. So,
well, good. All right, so Jason, all right, before I let you go, I want to see a cutaway on TV of you in orange overalls and a pitchfork.
I'm not an overalls guy, man. I'm a camo man. Camo and orange in case we got to go hunting out here or something. I'm out here, I think it's Omaha, Nebraska. You know, you can turkey hunt and do all kinds of stuff out here. It's wild.
Well, just be careful. Don't get arrested. I need to see you back here next week. All right.
Yes, sir. Good to talk to you, Big Joe. Have a good weekend, brother.
All right, Jason Carey, the mayor of Lebanon Road, Tennessee fan, and I'm so proud that he's not been arrested in Omaha all week. God bless you, Jason.
That was very good.
There's the boots on the ground for you.
We've had a couple of mayors on.
We have. That's
Yeah.
right.
Coming up next, we'll have another guest here from the Live Tour at the Grove. We're going to talk to Sean Riley. He's the tournament director, so we'll get into some of the technical stuff with him coming up next. Chasing Big Joe in the afternoon, in for Stillman and Company, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Hour number 2 of the Chasing Big Joe Show afternoon edition. In for Stillman and Company today, he's Big Joe Dubin. I'm Chase McCabe. Usually you can hear us every weekday from 9 to 11 here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. But we're live at the Live Golf Tour with live updates and interviews. That, of course, is all presented by our friends at Houston Clinic Orthopedics. Really appreciate Houston Clinic Orthopedics for being with us today. And part of our Live Golf Tour coverage. This has been pretty cool. You and I were walking around earlier.
Yeah.
You know, we hit a lot of different things in the first hour, but we were walking around the grounds earlier, checking it out. People are loving it. It may be hot, but they're still into the golf and everything that's going on.
What I like best about it is like parking's easy, getting here is easy. There's shuttles, it's easy. You park, next thing you know, you're walking the course. I mean, it's that simple and that easy to do to get out here. So I love it, man. It's a lot of fun. It's packed out here, and I know it's hot, but nobody's even brought the heat up, which is great.
No, I did that. That's my fault. We say hello now to Sean Riley, who's the tournament director for the Live Golf Tour. Sean, how are you?
Chase, Joe, doing great. We're having a great day here at Live Golf Nashville.
Thank you so much for having us. This is really cool. This is, I kind of thought through this. This is my first big time golf tour event to go to. And I was walking around earlier and just watching people having a blast, having a great time, the music out there. I mean, you guys have to be really pleased with, even though this is just the first day of how everything has gone so far.
Yeah, we're ecstatic. The way the Nashville's turned out today, the way everyone is having a great time safely in this heat. We're ecstatic. I was just out at 15, Bryson DeChambeau, John Rahm, Carlos Ortiz playing on our party hole. They both knocked it about 5 feet away. But just everyone's having a great time. The golf is good. The golf course is fantastic. The fans here in Nashville have shown up in droves and are just having a really good time with it.
What was it about the Grove that you liked, when you guys were looking at this and thinking about, okay, this is where we need to be?
Yeah, I mean, Nashville is a market that is obviously growing, and the golf fan here is here, and now there are more of them. Lots of great golf in Nashville. It was a natural fit. Put it in Music City, bring the Live Golf but louder together, and then of course, you put all these great fans and these great members here at the Grove together, and you really have something special.
Talking with tournament director Sean Riley here on the Chasing Big Joe Show.
So we had Trey Tutt on earlier, and Troy was it Troy? Troy and Trey, whoever, Troy Tutt from the Live tournament. And I said, as a being part of the director and everything, you look very relaxed. You look as relaxed as well. I've never seen a tournament director as relaxed as you are. Are you hiding it well, or are you just relaxed?
I've got a great team, and it's been a great day. So, when things are going well, it's what you get. We're in a really good spot out here. We've got a lot of fans, and it's hot, and we just distributed water to everybody, complimentary, just to make sure people are safe and enjoying their time out here. So I am relaxed right now, and I'm having fun. And usually when I'm having fun, our fans are having fun, right?
Exactly. As I asked earlier, why does this work? I mean, why are people gravitating and loving this?
Well, I think, Live has done unbelievable things in, revolutionizing the golf experience. The shotgun start brings everyone together around one central moment. People get to see their favorite players all on the range at the same time. They go out to watch the starting holes. I don't know if you guys were on the first tee this morning, but that same group had about 6,000 people around the first tee, and it was a scene. And it just works because people enjoy the atmosphere. We've brought a lot of what makes Nashville special together. And it just works because, when people are having fun and you're around such a great game like golf, it just works.
Golf is a sport of tradition, right? And, and I think, and I respect that. I always have respected that about golf. But you guys, I feel like, have broken tradition a little bit. You're still true to it, but also, as we've talked about earlier, like it's kind of like when you're out with your buddies, like you got music going on, you're having fun. And so I think it's cool that has been brought into pro golf and it's been accepted at the same time.
Well, and, to your point, when you go out and you play with your buddies, that's the experience you're looking for. You're looking for that hang. You're looking for that atmosphere. And you've got the side games, you've got the music. It's what people are looking for. Golf has all of its history and tradition, and it's still intact. But what we are is we're pushing the boundaries on the experience the spectator has, the activation they get to have, what the components are that are around it. You know, when you go to a traditional golf tournament, you get all of that history and tradition, but you know, we've for years told people to be quiet.
Mhm.
And now we're encouraging people to have fun. We're encouraging the music to be part of the atmosphere, and the players have embraced it, and that's ultimately what allows this to work.
So for those who don't know, so if you're lying for a putt on 16, crowd can scream
I can scream.
no matter what.
You know, I mean, if there's
Within reason.
something that's going up and down, or there's somebody banging on a drum, I mean, obviously that's distracting.
Right.
But part of the music and the beauty of it is it kind of keeps a constant noise. So
Yeah.
your sentences go down because in the tradition, you go from being perfectly quiet to a small sound maybe disrupting you. When you have kind of a buzz around you, your senses just kind of drop. So the
Right.
players have embraced that beautifully.
Obviously, no, we had our charity golf tournament yesterday, and on the course, we're screaming and yelling and high-fiving and cussing and all that. And I see it out here. I mean, it's a lot of fun, and it's just kind of translated the same way.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely. I
what
don't
it
know where my invite went, but
You might have been a little busy.
Right.
Because the pro-am was yesterday, right?
It
How,
was.
how did that go?
it was fantastic. This group of players really embraces the pro-am and the pro-am experience. We had a lot of great people on the property yesterday. We had Michael Orr, we had Wayne Gretzky.
Ooh.
We had the right mix of celebrities and then those that were buying the teams, and it was just a fun day. And again, we're embracing that atmosphere that Live brings so well. We're just enjoying ourselves, and when it's fun, everyone has fun.
Sean Riley is with us, the tournament director, and so obviously you're enjoying the season and everything that's going on now. Live is still relatively new. So what are some of the next steps that you all envision of this thing continuing to grow?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've kind of proven the concept at this point, and the crowds out here today justify it, right? Everyone is enjoying the concept, so I think the components are to continue to be great, to continue to be different, innovative, and I think that will continue to set Live Golf apart.
You have an amazing job. I mean, I know you know that, but you love golf. You're part of this amazing new enterprise in the golf. I mean, do you pinch yourself? I mean, how does this all work for you?
I'll tell you, I looked down at my watch a few moments ago, and I didn't realize it was 4 o'clock. I thought it was 10 a.m. So there's a lot that goes on to put these things together. The Live Golf staff and my staff, we've come together beautifully this week, and you don't really have a chance because you're just constantly going to the next thing. We're about to get our players off the golf course and have a concert here on site tonight. So Michael Margaggi out tonight for our concert, and then Dan Shea out for tomorrow night.
Wow.
All included in the price of the ticket. So, you get an opportunity just to kind of, go to the next thing, go to the next thing. You kind of forget it once in a while, and it's just part of what we get to do every day.
Very, very cool. Sean, thanks so much for stopping by, and thanks even more for having us. This has been a lot of fun.
Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. He's Sean Riley. He's the tournament director of the Live Tour. We'll have more coming next. Stillman and Company, Jason Big Joe in today here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Jason Big Joe, 1025, 1063 The Game here on this Friday as we're at the Live Tour at the Grove and continuing the discussion in for Stillman and Company today. Ian, do we have Chris? Okay, let's go to Chris Sanders, who joins us now, usually at 10 o'clock on the Chasing Big Joe show. Chris, what's up?
Man, what's going on, man? How you doing, man? Y'all doing good?
We're staying cool. Out here at the Live Tour, it's very, very warm, but doing fantastic. So now that you, as an NFL player, you're truly in vacation mode. What are the Titans need? What do they need to be doing right now to kind of stay in shape, come into training camp ready to go?
I mean, the one thing they have to do, you just said it, profoundly, is you got to stay in shape because you look at the 6 weeks that they're off. I mean, nobody's telling you what to do. Nobody's telling you to do sprints. Nobody's telling you to go to meetings. But I think this is a crucial 6 weeks because the thing that you don't want to do is, you did all this work. You did OTAs. You did mandatory meeting, and you go back and you be out of shape. So I just think as a player, as a professional, you got to make sure that you come into camp in shape, but don't wait until you get in shape when camp comes. So I think that's going to be 6 crucial weeks.
You're going to see guys. I think Will Levis was a part of the pro-am here at Live yesterday. I mean, they're going to do other things. They're going to do other physical things. You want your players to be able to do those things, but
absolutely,
as coaches, how are you kind of preaching hey, don't do anything dumb, take care of your bodies, don't get hurt?
Hey, Floyd used to say it all the time. He said, you can do all those things. Because I remember I would play like in not a flag football league, but I'd do like some charity flag football stuff. And he'd be like, hey, little fella, just make sure you be okay. I know you're doing some good things. I know you're doing it to raise money. But at the end of the day, if you're hurt and you're not available, you're not going to be this team. So you do want to do good things like that. And I think Will Levis is doing a great job by doing that. But you really, really want to be smart and just make sure you take care of yourself and not get hurt.
Talking to our best friend, the Chris Sanders.
What up?
Former Ohio State product, Tennessee Oilers, Houston Oilers, Tennessee Titans. All right, so you get drafted in 95, Chris. You come to the rookie mini camp and you meet Fisher, yada, yada, yada.
Yes.
Then you go home. You're a rookie for 6 weeks. What's going through your mind? I mean, you're working out, or you're like, I'm in the NFL. I mean, what's happening at that moment?
Yeah, I was on a mission, and I'm gonna tell you why I was on a mission is because when I came into rookie camp before, when I went to OTAs and all that, they weren't expecting me to play this time. They was like, oh, they got a whole bunch of receivers and this and that. So what I did is on these 6 weeks, I took it as a opportunity to where I'm going to get better. I mean, I did sprints up the hill. I did stuff in the sand. I lifted weights because I made it in my mind that when camp came, I was ready to play football and I was determined. So, I was just so determined that I wanted to do that. But later on, as I got into being a veteran, I still worked out, but I kind of did things just a little bit different, but I still had that hunger and desire.
It's talking about Will Levis taking all the receivers on vacation and throw with everybody. That's been kind of the trend the last 10, 15 years. Who threw to you back in 95? Your mom?
No. No.
I don't know. Who did?
Dave Craig.
No, it was Jim Plunkett. That's who it was. Yeah, that's who it was. No, I mean, it was, let me see. I'm trying to remember who the heck did throw to me. I think it was my mom. I think we're back catching the backyard. Stephen there would call us guys and kind of talk a little bit, but we really didn't get together when we had those 6 weeks because guys really wanted to just kind of get away and just kind of do their own thing. So, I just kind of just did things to myself. I ran routes on my own. I lifted, I trained. But other than that, I think it was my mom throwing the football to me.
How important, too, Chris Sanders is with us, forever Titans wide receiver. How important is it, though, during this time to put the football down, so to speak, and focus on family, focus on other things, get your mind cleared out? Because once you get to training camp,
absolutely,
that's your job for 6 months.
You're 100% right because you got to understand it is a long, grueling season. I mean, you got two preseason games, you got meetings all the time, and now your whole summer and everything's over. So it is good to get away and just kind of get away from football, not just from a physical stand, but also from a mental stance to where, I do football, I'm running routes, I'm learning how to get guys off the spot, chest, all that stuff because you hear it verbatim you hear it over and over and over and over again. So it does feel good to just kind of get away, but at the end of the day, you better come back ready because, man, it's going to be a long, long, grueling season.
So I'm going to ask you this, as both a fan of football and also as a former player and now a coach, at Montgomery Bell Academy. the Titans offense has evolved and it's changing.
Ooh,
And,
ooh.
it's supposedly they're going to be throwing the football more. You got a huge, core of receivers that
Yes.
all want the football and are all great pass catchers, tight end as well. You got two running backs that can catch the football.
Yes.
How patient do Titans fans need to be, though, of this transition? Because right now, I think that they know that the Derrick Henry era is over, and so that means like in their mind, they may think they never run the football again. We know that's not going to be true.
Yeah, I mean, that's not true. I mean, you got to understand something. When you get into December, the team that's going to win is the team that runs the football the best. And, I know this offense is going to look totally different from last year. I mean, last year they went a lot of 21 personnel. That's 2 backs, 1 tight, and 2 wide receivers. Now you're going to start seeing about 11 personnel. That's 1 back, 1 tight, and 3 wide receivers because, I mean, you have so many explosive players. You just allude to it. You got a new vet receiver core. You got Hop. You got, Calvin Ridley. You got Tyler Boyd. You got Kyra Phillips. You got a lot of great wide receivers. Then you got Chig. Then you got Wiley. Then you got Spears. Then you got, Pollard. You got all these guys that's like a candy in a candy store. So I just think that, if Nick Holtz and all these coaches work together, man, I'm going to tell you something, man. I'm not just saying this. This can be one of the best offenses in the league because now you got some guys that can catch a football, and now you got some backs that can catch the ball out the back. So man, it's going to be so exciting to see.
We're talking to Chris Sanders here on the Chase and Big Joe show here on 102.5, 106 for the game. You're a big believer in second chances and guys getting opportunity.
Yes.
I'm starting to see some of these guys from the UFL, Chris, are getting looks at NFL teams. As a former player, I mean, that feels good to see these guys getting these chances to make it in the NFL. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't get any chances at all.
Man, I agree with you 100% because listen, we always talk about, especially me being as a kid or kid, people dreaming to get into the NFL, and when you work and you work and you work and you don't get drafted, and then now you go to these other leagues and you perform well, you go and you get 9 and 10 sacks, and then now you got NFL teams calling you. I mean, I think it is because when you see a person's dream being fulfilled and getting a second chance and having a chance to make an NFL roster, I mean, that's what it's all about. It's about guys obtaining their dreams. It's about guys saying, you know what, I put in the work, I put in the sweat, I put in the blood, I did all these things, and now I get a second chance to really try to make a mark for my name. So I agree with you, Big Joe, that, man, it is a pleasure and it is an honor to see these guys to get a second chance and go out there and fulfill their dreams. So absolutely 1,000%.
You're as much a coach as you are, I think, a psychologist. I think as a football coach, you have to be a psychologist. You coach high school football at NBA. You've done a great job over there. How do you keep guys when a guy has a bad day, even if you translate this to the NFL, he's a bad day, a bad practice. What do you say to him afterwards like, all right, it's going to be okay? Because you can tell him, like, hey, man, it's going to be okay. But I mean, how do you approach him and say, look, today is today, tomorrow's a brand new day. Let's get after it. What do you say?
I mean, this is what I do when I first coach my receivers. I always tell them this because I'm always going to tell them the truth, and I'm always going to get them. I say this. I say I coach the receiver, but I love the kid. And the one thing I do, because sometimes you got to say the hard things, and if they have a hard practice, so what I do is that I say, okay, put the kid aside. Let me talk to the receiver. This is what you need to do better. This is what I expect you to do. I need you to do this. I need you to run routes. I need you to catch the ball. All these things. But then when I talk to the kid, I put my arm around him and tell him that I love him. Because the thing about it is we can say all these things. We can say all this great stuff. We can have all these great philosophies. But if I don't have a relationship with you, it's not going to mean nothing. So now when I have a guy that has a bad practice or a guy that's feeling down, so now I put the receiver guy to the side. Now I talk to the kid. And if you talk to the kid, the receiver is going to be great. So that's the way I handle the situation.
All right, Chris, that Big Joe and I love high school football. So let's talk about the Big Red for a minute. A dead period. I think we're about to be in the dead period before fall camp and all that starts. But how did some of the spring and summer practices go? How you feeling about the Big Red this year?
I'm feeling pretty good. Last year, it was kind of tough because we were trying to figure out our quarterback situation. And then, a couple of years before, I lost some of my great wide receivers like Claiborne and Ty Bird, all those guys. But now we got a slew of wide receivers. We got some things cooking in the mix because we got a couple of guys switching position. And now at the perimeter, I think I got a little speed up there. I got one guy that can maybe run like a 4.4, 4.5. So I'm excited. I love what Coach Uberall is building. And the one thing I love about this team. We might not be the most athletic. We might not be the biggest. We might not be the strongest. We might not even be the cutest. But the one thing that you're going to see on this team, you're going to see 89 guys love each other. You're going to see a team that fights on defense. You're going to see a team that claws on offense. So even though we might not be skilled as a lot of teams like Innsworth, with much respect, with BA, with much respect, with McCallie, much respect, with Beta, with much respect, but the one thing that separates us from all those teams is we have guys that love each other, and we're building a culture of men. So that's exactly what we do.
Well done. I mean, that's how you do it. You know, it's funny, Chris, this time of year, you always go back to playing high school and college football. And, you know, and I was like, I didn't work hard enough. You know, I did just enough.
Yeah.
You know, if I had to run a
man.
12-minute mile, I made it in 11:58. You know what I'm saying? I never, and I just wish I could go back to, you know, you fired me up so much. I wish I could go back and
God.
I worked out harder. I ran harder, and I didn't do any of that, man. And so that's why I tell these kids is like, you get this one opportunity, man, and just let it go. Embrace all of it.
Man, can I share a story with you? And I'm gonna be quick. You know, when you say that really tugs my heart, because here's the thing. You know, when I was at The Ohio State University, I jumped 26.9, and I'm not bragging when I say this. I broke Jesse Owens' long jump record. But when I was running track, only thing did things just to get by. And the reason why that bothers me to this day is because what if I'd have did that extra sprint? What if I'd have did that extra drill as opposed to being one of the greatest long jumpers at the greatest long jumper at The Ohio State University? Instead of being ranked 44th of all time, I could have been ranked in the top 10 at all times. That's what that bothers me, if I'd have did a little bit extra to try to get to where I need to get. That's why that's so important, what you just said.
Yeah, I mean, I know I'm 55. I can't go back, 40 years ago. But in my mind, Chris, I go back every single day, and I beat the hell out of myself. And I'm not the only one. There's a lot of guys I played with who feel the same. It's like, hey, had we just known, and when we don't, and now we're older, we have a different mindset of everything. But as I tell these kids, man, just let it go, have fun, embrace it, work hard, and you'll make a difference.
But I think sometimes, Joe, that when we're in it, we think it's tough. We're tired of 2-a-days. We're tired of, doing the same sprint. We're tired of doing the same drills. But let me remind you something. You'll never appreciate it until it's gone. When I got drafted and all this stuff, 2-a-days were hard. I'm like, I don't want to do this. But then all of a sudden, when it's taken away and I hurt my back, and you're one play away from retirement, now you're like, man, I want to go through 2-a-days. Man, I want to go through these things, because you don't appreciate it because you're in the midst of it. But man, if I could rewind my life back over, man, I would take anything to do one more long jump. I'd take anything to one more route. Because the love of the game. So, man, I agree with you, man. Tell these kids that you're one play away from not playing. So take advantage of every day and be the best that you can be.
It's funny is that, when I get in the morning, I'll go to the gym at 5:30, 5:45, and I'll smell that grass in the morning, Chris.
Oh, my God.
I'm immediately back at 2-a-days. Immediately back at 2-a-days.
Though it is unbelievable, and it's funny that you say that, Big Joe, is because I'm the same way. When you smell that grass, especially the first game of the season of high school, and the other team is running onto the field, and your guys are warming up, it just reminds you, man, how good football was, how fun it was. That you, if you could just rewind your life and just do it again, I would pay anything just to do it, man. That's good stuff, man.
Yeah, good stuff from you, Chris. Always enjoy the conversations, and we will talk next week.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys. Love you guys.
You too. Chris Sanders, Forever Titans wide receiver, joining us here on the show. He usually joins us on the Chase and Big Joe show every Friday at 10 o'clock, and also Stillman and Company on Wednesdays at 2:45. We're live today at the Live Tour at the Grove. We'll have much more coming, and it's all presented by Houston Clinic Orthopedics. Houston Clinic Orthopedics is a big part of our station, and proud to have them on the Live Golf Tournaments. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Big Joe, 1025, 1063, the game here on this Friday. In for Stillman and Company. We're live out at the Grove at the Live Golf Tournament presented by Houston Clinic Orthopedics. Appreciate them for being on board with this. We've had a stacked and packed show there, JoJo.
Well, yeah, it's been a lot of fun today. It's been really cool being out here for this golf tournament. And I haven't covered a golf tournament since, I guess, the senior PGA 25 years ago or so. So it's
Yeah.
good to see how this all works and comes together.
Yeah. Obviously a lot of fans eyes on Omaha as the Vols get ready to try and win this thing. 2 wins away from winning the College World Series. Did you ever think, as somebody that has covered sports in this town and lived in this town, that, you know, we know what Vanderbilt has done, but with Tennessee, it just felt like for a long time baseball wasn't their thing. They had good teams,
Right.
but not like win the whole thing teams. Now they're 2 wins away.
Well, no, I think Tim Corbin came in and really elevated college baseball in our state. And I think for a while he wrecked the Tennessee baseball program. I mean, he was stealing guys from there. And what happened was more talent started to grow within the state of Tennessee. You can't sign everyone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of credit because of Tim Corbin and Vanderbilt baseball growing the sport in this state. And now Tennessee, I mean, there's guys who, you know, Vanderbilt's got a loaded team, Tennessee's a loaded team, and just Tennessee put it together. And now with these guys, a lot of homegrown talent that's coming in. Of course, the portal helps and all that. But college baseball has elevated in the state. I think it began with Tim Corbin, and now Tony Vitello is taking it. Vitello. What I call him Vitello?
I don't know.
Vitello. Done it like 30 times. Is now taking it to another step, right? So now you go and you win a national championship, and you're in that discussion. So this is fun. Look, I remember Vanderbilt baseball. I had friends from high school played there. Nobody went to the games. Nobody.
Right.
Even, you know, Mike Organ was a beat writer there. He's like, Vanderbilt baseball. And I just know Roy Muber was the coach, and that was about it. But now, I mean, look at it. I mean,
Yeah.
look at the, you know, the program there.
Well,
at Vanderbilt.
credit to Corbin. I know
Absolutely
his
it
crew
is.
and what they've done. And I mean, they have, you know, he's talked about it time and time again of how he had to be a salesman, you know,
Yeah.
with that program.
Oh, yeah.
He's done that. And what's great is, you know, Vanderbilt fans are disappointed right now. They're disappointed that they're not in Omaha and their biggest rival is. And, you know, while that sucks, that's also a good thing. That shows you that you've had a ton of success and you expect that success every year. And,
Yeah.
you know, now it's been 5 years since they, you know, last won the national championship. It was 5 years before that. And so, you know, we'll see.
I put out a funny poll on Twitter the other day about when Texas A&M was playing Florida, and I said, "All right, you Vol fans, only for you. How many of you are rooting for Florida?" And it was like 40% rooting for Florida. I was like, "But you're not true Vol
Yeah,
fans."
no.
I mean, that should have been 99 to 1% Tennessee fans wanting Florida to lose. I know you're facing another SEC team, but man, it was Florida. But remember going to the tournament, Tennessee was the number 1 ranked team, but the betting favorite was Texas A&M.
Yeah, that's changed. That is different.
Has it?
Oh, Tennessee's the heavy favorite. Well, because here's the thing: Texas A&M's beat up. They got some pretty key injuries.
Oh, okay.
You know, significant injuries that they're dealing with. Let's see. I'll pull it up here on the ESPN Bet Sportsbook, my official sportsbook. Download that app today. Nice little plug to throw in there.
Good job.
Thank you. You taught me well. That is for sure. So let's see. Tennessee is. Talk amongst yourselves for a second.
I pulled a muscle in my back.
You okay?
And it hurt.
Tennessee is
Really
minus 180 tomorrow, and plus 130 is Texas A&M.
Now,
For the
what does that
for the
mean?
tournament itself, Tennessee is a heavy favorite at minus 210. Texas A&M plus 165. So basically what that means is, you know, if you bet $210 on Tennessee, you win 100. That's how
Oh.
heavy of a favorite they are.
What if I bet $210 they lose?
Then you lose your $210.
You lose some juice with that too, or whatever
You
y'all
lose it, yeah. I
call
mean,
it.
the price of the bet is
Okay.
210, whereas A&M is plus 165. So if you bet 100, you win 165.
Okay. All right. What's your feeling on this?
I think they win. I think Tennessee wins. I mean, I think they're too determined, and I am always a believer in a team that loses the year before. And I know they didn't make it to the final, but like, you know, that they've had heartbreak, you know, the last few years, and they've been so close. I'm a firm believer that if, you know, you got to learn how to win. I mean, you got to learn what that's like. And
Yeah.
sometimes losing teaches you that. And you know that, okay, Vitello is another one. Like he had to learn that we should do this differently this time. And now they just have that swagger, they have that confidence.
Yeah.
There's some people may call it cockiness. I think it's confidence. I think they know they're going to go in there and win.
That's a good attitude. I'm waiting for their bats to be silenced, and I guess I'll just keep on waiting because it's not happening.
Because remember, everybody talks about that they're not at Lindsey Nelson Stadium, so the ball,
Yeah, watch out, it won't fly as
it won't
well.
put it in, and it hasn't. But at the same time, like they've been getting big hits. Like maybe we talked to Vince Ferrara the other day. Maybe there's some big doubles they've had that might have been home runs at Lindsey Nelson Stadium, but they're still getting those big hits and driving in runs.
I don't think it's great. I mean, it's going to be fun. I mean, these are two really good baseball teams that are squared off in Omaha. But I just, I don't know. I mean, I watched that Florida State game last Friday night, 4 2-out hits. I was like, am I seeing this? Is this really happening? And we had, Kane on earlier. It was the same way. It was like, man, just watching that game, you get so fired up. I believe that was a week ago, but it's fun. I mean, anytime our local teams play in a national championship game, it's great. We don't get to experience that a lot. Vanderbilt 21, runner-up, 19 they won it, 15 runner-up, 14 they won it, and it's fun. Now it's Tennessee's turn to do that, and which the Vols all the success to go out and do it. It's funny. I know Vitello's getting tired of hearing the comparisons to the 2022 team. I mean, it's like that team was loaded and didn't make it, and this team, and he was like, oh, that was then, this is now. We can't do anything about 22. We can't do something about 24.
Drew on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHonda.com, 615-737-1025 says, what do you think of this comparison? Tim Corbin equals Coach K, so the established,
okay,
the establishment basically, and Vitello equals Nate Oates. Like the new success. I mean, you look at when Nate Oates first got to Alabama, some of the success that they had. I see what he's trying to do there. I don't know if Nate Oates is quite the comparison, but I see what he's trying to do.
And if I'm a Vol fan, I want the comparison, hopefully, to Dan Hurley. Give me the championship.
Yeah.
Nate Oates hasn't won a championship. Yeah. Give me the championship.
Right.
Let's do that, because that puts you in the discussion forever. Like, do you remember who Vanderbilt lost to, or remember Vanderbilt beat in 14?
Michigan, right?
Virginia.
Yeah. Michigan was 19.
That's right. So you just, if you come in second, it's a great accomplishment. Nobody cares.
Yeah, nobody knows.
And that's the thing, is that
Vanderbilt's been a runner-up,
15 and 21.
Yeah. So the year after the first one, and then 2 years after, because they're in 20.
That's right.
But yeah. So I mean, look, you want to be the one to win.
That's right.
And
I
think this team truly believes that they can. And I don't even think that they're thinking, fans may think this, but I don't even think they're thinking that, Texas A&M's got key injuries, like they're beat up, we got this. Like, but if you're Tony Vitello, you're not letting them think that. Like, hey, no, they got good players. You still got to go out there.
That's
and do
right.
your job.
We had our question yesterday, impromptu sports trips of people, where it's the last thing you took off and went to. And then I had, probably 20, 25 Vol fans or friends who left today, have no ticket in hand, have no hotel room. They're just going to experience it. And I'm a little jealous to go out there and do that kind of last second to go to Omaha. I mean, it's not like it's down the corner. It's not like you bounce over to Rayon City. I mean, it's a haul to get out there. And so good for them. I mean, it's the way a sports fan, I love it. It's be a good time out there. Remember tomorrow's game, is it on ESPN? Is it Sundays on ABC, right?
Correct. Yeah.
That's a 1 o'clock or noon start. One of those two.
But that's a big deal to be on network television.
Oh, it's huge.
Yeah.
To do that. So hopefully, and Drew Beam, I think, is going in game 2 on Sunday. The Blackman High School product, who is a hell of a quarterback in high school and committed to Tennessee baseball and doing a great job.
Dwight says Vanderbilt did it honestly, and UT is just buying a team. That's Dwight in Kentucky. Dwight, I hate to tell you this, but welcome to 2024
Right.
college sports.
That's they're all. I mean,
And I mean, Vanderbilt's going to have to do it too. They got to play the portal, and you got to play the NIL game. And I mean, if you don't look at Clemson, prime example is Dabo Swinney won't do it at Clemson, and they have gotten left behind.
yep, they have.
And it's going to cost it if he doesn't do it. It's going to cost him his job.
And they doubled down and said most of those guys in the portal wouldn't play here anyway.
Right.
It's like, all right, good. You stay strong in what you believe in.
Hey,
But
we'll look forward to seeing you on ESPN.
that's right. There's 4 schools who haven't done portal. It's Army, Navy, Air Force, and
And Clemson.
Clemson, yeah. Could have done that. There's a new, do this. I know we got Chad Withrow at the top of the hour. There's a all new SEC football power ranking that came out an hour ago.
Oh,
And it's very surprising. And I want to get your thoughts on it.
okay. We'll do that coming up next. Again, we are live today at the Grove, the Live Tour, all brought to you by Houston Clinic Orthopedics here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Jason Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game, in for Stillman and Company today. We are live at the Grove for the Live Tour, and that is all presented by Houston Clinic Orthopedics. Excited to be in for Jared today, and he will be back on Monday. By the way, just saw this on X or Twitter. Barry Sanders posting this: to all my supporters, over Father's Day weekend, I experienced a health scare related to my heart. It was unexpected and served as a reminder of the importance of staying vigilant about our physical well-being, even when we were feeling fine. I'm grateful for the amazing doctors, nurses, and other healthcare professionals for providing me with needed care. My family and I are thankful for your prayers and support during this time. Per my doctor's recommendation, I am taking this opportunity to prioritize my health and well-being. I appreciate your understanding and continued support. Barry.
Wow, good.
Barry Sanders having something going on over
Well,
Father's Day weekend. So wish him the best and hope he's all right.
yeah, I'm gonna do this. Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
Don't ask him about MasterCard. And you have a good time. All right. College Sports Wire, part of USA Today, has come out with their SEC power rankings. And I got to tell you, man, it's interesting because the SEC now chases turned into the haves and have-nots, because you can guess the first 8, but on the backside is the programs like playing catch up. And I got to tell you, coming in at number 10 in the power ranking is a school that I never thought I would see this low, and yet it is. Do you know who it is?
Well, the way you set that up, I'm going to have to guess Alabama.
No, they're number 1.
Okay.
Yeah,
They're still.
I mean, you got the halves, Alabama, Georgia, others, but this school number 10, and there's no real promise.
This is the SEC or this is all
SEC.
This is okay.
This is no promise of this school ever getting any better.
Florida.
Florida Gators. Good
Wow.
job. Yeah.
Well, look, you and I have been saying that he was going to get fired, and people said we were crazy. Now we
That was
did say it
before
was
you.
going to be,
That's good.
said it was going to be last year, and it wasn't. But I mean, if they don't perform this year, he's out.
Oh yeah, no doubt. And then
Billy Napier.
oh no kid. And then I know Hugh Freeze in 12 at Auburn, but I just it's crazy to talk about that. Auburn was a juggernaut for so long, and Alabama came, of course, won so much. But Auburn stood there competing. They won in 10, and they almost won in 13, and they've beaten Alabama through. But to see them at at 12, something else. Missouri's at 5th. Missouri football, and the fact that Drinkwitz, is that how you say his name?
Eli Drinkwitz.
Yeah, did not leave for another school is like, all right, he there's something building.
He
there,
knows he's got something.
Yeah.
Because I mean, when the stock is what the stock is with him,
right?
you would have thought that he would have grabbed one of these other jobs. Now you're talking about Auburn. I think Auburn's going to take a minute because that was in such, I mean, it was in a bad spot. And so
Brian Larson, man.
Yeah, Brian Harsin
Oh.
just really left it in a bad spot. And I think Hugh Freeze, say what you want about Hugh Freeze, and did he mess up before? Of course he did. I think he's a good coach. And so I think he can come in there and, after a couple of years, have them back to where they need to be.
Bottom 4, I guess you can guess.
Vandy's probably the last one.
Vandy's last one.
South Carolina's probably in there.
13. Yeah, we got 2 more. You got him?
Uh,
He's the first coach who'll be fired in the SEC this year. I'm telling you right now.
the first coach that'll be fired
Yep.
in the SEC, Mississippi State.
They just hired a new coach.
Oh.
So he won't be.
But they're probably in there.
They're 15th. Good job.
Yeah.
One more school. He
Uh,
probably should have been fired last year, but he'll be fired this year because they're not good. And and he had a lot of promise.
Oh, South Carolina.
No, you already said they're 13.
Oh. Crap, who am I?
I think he should be fired because he lied to the Titans about Isaiah Wilson. But
Oh, Arkansas. Yeah.
yeah, I think he'll be the first one gone.
Yeah.
They're just
I don't think he makes the whole season.
yeah, me neither. Not at all. So it's just interesting the power rankings going on because now you got Oklahoma and Texas in the league. Oklahoma is, I think, 7th. Texas is 3rd. So it's Alabama, Georgia, Texas, Ole Miss, Missouri. Your top, and LSU at 6.
So where's the original UT
3rd.
in the SEC?
Oh, 7th.
7th.
Yeah, you threw me off.
Yeah,
right
sorry,
there.
in the SEC.
Yes. So they're 7th. That's going in. But we
That's
talked
probably where they should be.
about critical games on the SEC and that Alabama Georgia game. I'm telling you, man, if Georgia goes into Tuscaloosa and beats Alabama, they're going to be calling for his head. I'm telling you. And then they got Wisconsin 2 weeks before that at Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if they lose at Wisconsin and lose to Georgia at home? No, I mean it's no. DeBoer is going to be gone, and it was his way out of there. But we'll see what happens, man.
Yeah. So Alabama's number 1.
Yep.
Read it again.
So Alabama number 1, Georgia number 2.
Yep.
Uh,
I think Georgia should be 1, but
yeah, me too as well because they're
they're
2,
holding on to hope with the Saban.
3 is Texas.
Yep.
4 Ole Miss.
I agree with that.
5 Ole Miss has got to do it this year. I mean, there's enough hype now.
Hey,
and-
I'm telling you right now, ride the Ole Miss train. I think Lane, he's known something all along. That's why he stayed. He's been building that program. I think people aren't sleeping on them, but they're thinking, okay, they're not there with they're gonna win a game that they're not supposed to.
Yeah, here's my question. I always say to those about Lane Kiffin, give me a big game he's won.
You're right.
Yep.
He hasn't won the big game yet, but I think they do this year.
Yeah,
Do they have
good.
Georgia and Alabama?
I don't know. I'll
those
just
are big.
schedule
Yeah.
pull it up here. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
I got it.
But this, I mean, he's done all the portal hype, all the look at us, come to the SIP, and all the things that go on. I'd love for Middle to go down there week 2 and beat Ole Miss. Wouldn't that be fantastic? Middle goes down and beats Ole Miss week 2 down in
Well,
Oxford.
I think Derek Mason did have a couple wins over Ole Miss.
He did.
So their first 4 games, Furman, MTSU at home, at Wake Forest, and then Georgia Southern. I think they go 4-0.
4-0. What's their first big test? What's Ole Miss' first big test this year?
Do you consider Kentucky a big test?
Do not.
Okay. That's their first SEC game in Oxford. They go to Columbia to take on South Carolina.
Okay. Do not.
And then at Baton Rouge.
Yeah, here we
LSU.
go.
That's the one. The Magnolia Bowl, October 12th.
Make that a night game, please.
Oh, it
God,
is.
I would not
So,
want to
the
be there.
SEC does these new windows now where they don't give you the full time yet, but they give you it's either a flex, it's a morning, it's an afternoon, or it's a night. This is night.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, I
It's a
mean,
night
there's
game.
some stadiums that should have all night games. And LSU is that stadium that should do that. Although Neyland's pretty beautiful at night too, man.
yeah. Then they go back home to play Oklahoma. That'll be a big game, but at least it's at home. Arkansas is at Fayetteville, and then they get Georgia. So, I mean,
In Oxford,
yeah,
it sets up well for him.
it sets up well for him. They're at Gainesville, and then Mississippi State is at home. So the good news is don't have to play Alabama. The bad news is you got to play Georgia.
Yeah. So all the divisions are gone. There's no more East or
Yeah,
West, correct?
correct.
To do all that. So that's it. I think it sets up
So
quite
LSU
well.
To me, at LSU's their toughest game, and then probably Georgia and Oklahoma at home.
Okay. All right. So ride the Ole Miss thing. And then I just, the Missouri thing, I saw them versus Middle last year up close and personal, and Middle outplayed them for so much of the game, but it doesn't matter if you don't win the game. And so Missouri won the game and went on and had a great season. And I heard they kicked a 60-yard field goal. They beat LSU. Who'd they not win LSU? God dang it, they had a 60-yard field goal, and who'd they beat? I can't remember now, but Missouri won. But anyway, that's how it's shaping up. And then Vanderbilt at 16th.
I love SEC fans. SEC fans and I can tell Drew is an SEC fan. Jackson Dart is trash. That's why Old Piss won't win. Gotta have a quarterback.
Love it, man. I think this is so much anticipation on the 2024 SEC season with the addition of Oklahoma and Texas of unlike we've ever seen before. Probably going back, Chase. I know in 12 they added A&M and Missouri, but going back to 92 and they added Arkansas and South Carolina. And this is as much anticipation for the SEC football that I can remember in my lifetime.
Dwight, Kentucky. Chase, we've been playing our players for years at UK, even though we weren't supposed to.
You made a couple of Citrus Bowls that way.
Yeah.
My favorite story from the offseason was Stoops, the A&M job. Is like, because we have some inside intel about him going to, and then somebody put something out there like, hey, Stoops going to A&M, and Twitter just, it's like 98% Texas A&M fans were like, we're going to block the border if you come here and try to take this A&M job. And then Stoops like, hey, upon further discussion, I'm staying in Kentucky. It was like, yeah. He's like, I didn't get, I wasn't a contract extension. I just thought I'm staying here. And we're like, yeah, bet you are staying there. But some big shoes to fill down at A&M. And they got, A&M is 11th in this. So you pay Jimbo all that money. He's worthless. And
Who
so
they hire?
the dude from Duke. I don't remember his name.
Yeah, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, so he comes over. He's a former A&M defensive coordinator. Great coach. He's got a lot to clean up now. He's got our boy Marcel Reed down there, starting quarterback A&M. So at least he's got that, which is fantastic. But man, he had so much to pick up from because Jimbo was an awful coach. And I guarantee you that Jimbo Fisher 2025 will be coaching somewhere.
Oh, of course he will.
His ego cannot let him stand out and not be like, because already now you're talking about how bad he was. And from the Jimbo I remember, the ego part is killing him.
The ego, and also you're going to have a team that just takes a chance.
Yep. Oh yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, he's great. We'll get him. We'll talk about this and much more, including the Live Tour with Chad Withrow from Outkick. He is going to join us coming up next. We're live at the Grove at the Live Tour, brought to you by Houston Clinic Orthopedics, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Hour number 3, Chase and Big Joe in for Stillman and Company today, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. We are live out at the Grove Golf Course for the Live Tour, of course, presented by Houston Clinic Orthopedics. And Jared going to be back on Monday, but we're excited about this because this means we get to talk to Chad Withrow from Outkick, who joins us now. Chad, what's going on?
Boys, it is always a pleasure and an honor to join you. I am currently on Interstate 40 West, heading towards lovely Burns, Tennessee, where I'll be coaching my daughter's travel team tonight in the start of the state tournament. So I've been listening to you guys and enjoying it, and now I get a chance to talk to you.
Oh, wow. That'll be fun. Well, good luck with that to you and your daughter's team. So I hope y'all get the win. Let's start with the other baseball tournament that's going on in Omaha. Nobody wants to say like, oh, it's already a success because they've gotten to the final of the Men's College World Series. But considering that, this is uncharted territory for the Vols, where does this put Tony Vitello, when you're talking about Tennessee athletics as a whole, where is he now in the pantheon of Tennessee athletics?
Well, in terms of Tennessee athletics, it's tough to envision, for me, a baseball coach becoming the guy on campus, right? And especially in the history of football there, and women's basketball at Pat Summitt, and men's basketball to an extent also, it's tough to get to the top of the university historically. But he's definitely right there in the mix right now of most popular people on campus, given their success. And I think just in the college baseball world, guys, when you look at what he's done, I mean, the one thing they had not done under Tony Vitello was have success in Omaha. So they've had success in Omaha now. Well, the only thing to check off the check the box of is a national championship. And we knew that going into this NCAA tournament. He's won regular season titles. He's won the SEC tournament a couple times. They've had the number 1 overall seed. They had not had success in Omaha. You can check that box. But now they've got to check the box of national champion. That's it for him. I mean, he has done everything else. He's sending guys to the majors. He's winning the SEC. It's been a remarkable turnaround of Tennessee baseball that was at a real low point when he took over. So it's a successful season regardless. But, guys, Tennessee's got a chance to be arguably the best college baseball team in the history of the sport. They could be the first ever SEC team to win 60 games if they win this national title. If they're the number 1 overall seed going into the tournament, they would have won the SEC regular season and the conference tournament. They're the first team to have 5 guys with 20-plus home runs in a season. I mean, they're right up there, probably top 5 all-time historically, if they can win this national championship.
Chad Withrow is with us from Outkick. And look, I look at, they're a heavy betting favorite right now to win not only game 1, but to win the whole thing. I feel like just with do you call it confidence? Do you call it cockiness? Do you call it swagger? Maybe a little bit of everything. I feel like they got whatever they need, knowing that they're going to go in there and do this thing.
Yeah, in the words of Pedro Serrano in Major League, they've got big marbles. This is a team with marbles, and that's a reflection of their coach, right? I mean, that's absolutely Tony Vitello's influence on this team. Now, 2 years ago, they were villains. They were hated because of how they showed other teams up, and no one liked them, and they embraced that villain role. This year, that's not this team. They're bold, they're confident. I wouldn't say they're villains. They're not showing people up as much. They're just a different personality than that 2022 team, and I think we've seen that this year. But I really think that Tony Vitello and this program, this Omaha and this tournament overall, they've started to kind of cross that threshold of being villains to being more well-liked or at least respected. I think a lot of it has to do with Tony Vitello's address after the Evansville win, where he had a 6-minute, diatribe about what it means to coach this sport and what it means to have his guys back and everything else. That was awesome. One of the best coach sound bites I've ever heard. So I think they're starting to cross that threshold into being a popular team for those that don't really have a team. And we couldn't really say that in 2022 because most of the college baseball world hated that team.
You're exactly right. Chad Withrow with us on the Chase and Big Joe show. Chad, I don't know if you remember, but years ago, Rick Pitino was going to become the head basketball coach at Michigan, making more money than the football coach. And Bo Schembechler said, no way in hell is the basketball coach at Michigan going to make more than the football coach, meaning there was this huge split between love of football and basketball. Add Tennessee baseball to this mix, and I have not heard one of my Tennessee fans say, well, you know what? We're a football school. It's so great to hear. Look, it's all about winning. It's about the university pulling together as one. And that doesn't happen, Chad, at every school, as you well know.
No, it's really remarkable, Joe, because of my lifetime following Tennessee sports, you can point to that time in the 90s where men's basketball under Jerry Green was, good, not great, but very talented. Of course, Pat summoned the women's team with a three-peat, and then the culmination of the women's three-peat in 96, 97, 98 to go with 98 for the football program, winning it all and having a lot of success during that decade. That's really the closest thing to this. And Rod Delmonico was pretty good in Tennessee baseball in the 90s as well. But that's as close as I can think of to this level of dominance and cohesion within the athletic department at Tennessee. And they really are an everything school right now. The softball team is one of the best in the country. Baseball, one of the best in the country. Football, competitive within the SEC, which is the best football conference in America. Basketball just went to the Elite Eight, and they won the regular season SEC title, or at least a share of it. I mean, this is high times for the Vols. I hate to ever say like this is the best it's ever been or the best it ever will be, because things can change. But man, it's pretty good right now if you're a Tennessee Vol.
When you were at Tennessee, Chad, can you count on one hand how many baseball games you went to?
I can count on one finger. I went to Arizona State one time. Arizona State was in town. Guys, I lived in a Sigma Nu house for 1 year, and you could see the Sigma Nu house from right field. I mean, you could hit a home run into the courtyard outside of it. I think I attended one baseball game my entire time in Knoxville. And I am, look, self-professed, not a huge college baseball guy. Tony Vitello and this team and a couple others has made me pay more attention. But it makes you pay more attention to Tennessee, not necessarily the whole sport. So right. I'm not going to sit here and say that I've been with the Vols baseball program forever, because it's one of those sports where I think, and people hate when I say this, and I know it's not the case at Vandy and some other places that really value baseball all the time, but you can easily turn it off. You can turn it on and turn it off. When your team sucks, you're not going to watch, and you're not really going to care and get that worked up about it. When they're really good, you're going to watch and get behind it. Football is a 24/7, 365 obsession. When your team sucks, you're going to feel it, and you're going to read more about it. You're going to think about it. It's going to bother you. That's not the case with some sports. Now, I put baseball in that category in college, where I still think it's a pretty easy turnoff factor if your team isn't good.
Chad Withrow is with us from Outkick. We will have more with him coming up next here in Chasing Big Joe in for Stillman and Company today. Again, we're live at the Live Tour at the Grove Golf Course, all presented by Houston Clinic Orthopedics here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Jason Big Joe, 1025, 1063, The Game here on this Friday, live out at the Grove at the Live Golf Tour. Of course, that is all presented by Houston Clinic Orthopedics. Appreciate them for being on board with us. We'll have more with Chad here in just a second. Also, we're big NASCAR guys with the Ally 400 coming to town next weekend.
Wow, yeah.
Driver Chris Bush are going to join us in the next segment. And if you missed our conversation with the mayor of Knox County, Glenn Jacobs, better known to wrestling fans as Kane, you can hear that conversation to end the show today. And Jared will return on Monday. So some of you are probably happy about that. Some of you aren't. So
Right.
that is okay. But Chase and Big Joe having a big time here. Speaking of NASCAR, I kind of laughed at this. I saw this come across Twitter earlier. So, Stewart Haas Racing's closing down, right?
Okay.
And so there are 4 guys that are looking for a job. One of them is Chase Briscoe. Well, it came out last week that Martin Truex Jr. is retiring from Joe Gibbs Racing. We talked to Ty Gibbs earlier this week. Christopher Bell in his press conference today kind of slipped up and let some news come out.
What he did.
And that is that he goes, he was asked about, does he think he needs to be more of a leader with Martin retiring, and he'll be one of the elder statesmen along with Denny Hamlin.
Right.
And he, kind of gives his answer, and he goes, plenty of time to spend Ty, plenty of time to spend Martin or me or Denny. I don't think there really is a leadership role in that aspect. And whenever we have a new driver in the 19 car, whoever that is, their experience level would dictate how much input they have on the team. That's what the transcript said. What he actually said, and the video is everywhere, is I don't think there really is a leadership role in that aspect. Whenever Chase Briscoe comes into the car and then he stops himself and goes, oh no, and realized what he did and tried to backtrack it. But it's out there now.
No more backtracking, man.
Nope.
This forever on the internet.
So it looks like Chase Briscoe will go to Joe Gibbs in the 19 car, which I think is a fantastic hire. So that will be good. I know we're waiting for Chad, or maybe Chad is in traffic, so I don't know if we're going to be able to catch up with it. If not, Ian, don't worry about it. It's all good.
He's
I think
going over his softball maxims tonight.
Yeah, I think he might be calling back right now, but get a few minutes with Chad before we get out.
I look, for all of us who have coached our kids' little league team, I coached my daughter's softball. Nothing stressed me out more than that.
Yep. All right, let's go back to Chad Withrow, who is with us from Outkick. Chad, I wanted to shift into some college football for a minute, because I know we're all just ready for college football to be back. Joe pulled up a power ranking list, and I got to tell you, I'm pretty high on Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin. They're at 4th behind Alabama, Georgia, and Texas. Are you buying Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin this year or no?
I am, because of how well they did in the transfer portal and Jackson Dart coming back, and the fact their schedule is awful. I don't know if you've looked up and down their schedule, but they cut every possible break with a schedule that you can catch. Missouri's the same way. I know Missouri, I was listening to you guys, I know they're going to be ranked high up there too, and they should, with a returning quarterback and Luther Burden, who might be a top 3 pick in the NFL draft at receiver. But I'm really high on both those guys. I think they got a chance to do some damage if you look at the schedule of both of those teams. Tennessee's schedule is really difficult. I put them on the list too of teams that I think are sneaky really good. And with Tennessee, it's not about Nico, it's about their defense. They've got maybe the oldest defensive line in America, with all the guys that are returning for a 5th or 6th COVID year. Plus, you've got James Pierce, who's going to be maybe the number 1 overall pick as an edge rusher. So I wouldn't sleep on Tennessee either, because I think that defense is going to be really surprising this year.
Chad, you're you know SEC football very well. First coach fired in 2024 is?
Sam Pittman. I agree with you guys.
We agreed.
Yeah. When I saw the lawsuit from Jade Rashada, I thought there was a chance we could get a preseason fireworks and firing with Florida and Billy Napier, but that's not going to happen. I could see things falling apart quick for Florida, but I do think that Sam Pittman's the one that's even in the stranger spot, because no one's quite sure why he's even back at Arkansas, and with the time he's been given. So I think he's likely the first one to get fired in season.
Yeah, I mean, we're not like celebrating because I don't like to see anybody get fired, but I mean, it's going to happen invariably, and I'm with you. How he came back is beyond me.
And I don't celebrate guys getting fired, but I will say, like, if your agent is going to work the system so well and the Jimmy Sextons of the world are going to make it where you just make millions upon millions for failing, for not winning enough games, well, I'm also not going to sit there and be overly upset for you if you're Sam Pittman or everywhere or anyone else, because you're going to get paid. There is no other profession in America where you get paid to fail, like college football coaching and college basketball coaching, especially in college football. So I get it. Like, I'm not going to sit there and have a ticker tape parade and throw a party when someone gets fired, but I'm also not going to cry tears over them because they're going to get paid very well to not work.
Yeah, for sure. Chad, we're going to cut a little bit early today, but appreciate you. Always good to talk to you. And hey, best of luck to your daughter's softball team and coaching. You got this.
I got to punch the time clock down and go to work myself in this state tournament. So I'm going to get to that right now. Guys, you have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Chad Withrow joining us from Outkick, and appreciate him. Joe, coming up next, we're going to talk some racing. Ally 400, Chris Buescher, he drives the number 17 for Roush Fenway Kozlowski Racing. He will join us coming up next. Chasing Big Joe in for Stillman and Company today. We're live at the Live Golf Tournament. Of course, all of our coverage at the Live is presented by Houston Clinic Orthopedics here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, The Game. It is just about a week away, the Ally 400 race weekend at the Nashville Super Speedway. And one of the competitors you will see is the driver of the number 17 Fastenal Ford for RFK. Chris Buescher is on the line with us. Chris, what's up, my man? How are you?
Just another day in paradise. Hope y'all are doing good.
I'm doing fantastic. You've been fun to watch, and I've had the opportunity to talk to you over the years and do a Q&A out at the Super Speedway. And the last few years I know have got to be a lot of fun for you with Brad coming over to RFK and the success you guys have had. I know you haven't found victory lane yet this year, but I know you got to be having a lot of fun.
Yeah, we certainly are. It's been some of the most fun I've ever had in racing as of late, and a lot of that just comes down to the simple fact that when we show up to a racetrack and we unload our Mustang off the back door of our hauler, we feel like we have a chance to win, and that goes a really long way when you don't have to circle certain events on the calendar, when you can say every week, no matter where we go, we have a chance for a really good day and a chance to win. And while you pointed out we haven't gotten our win this year yet, we've been in the hunt a lot, and we've been very close a lot, and that's it's certainly a good start. Ultimately, it doesn't replace a trophy, but we are in a good spot. We've been able to see some massive progress here at RFK, and again, it's just made it more fun. It's made it feel like the days that I remember when I first signed up to go racing for Roush through a development program back 15 years ago. It feels like those kind of days where you feel like you have this massive amount of momentum on your side, and you look forward to going to the racetrack each and every week.
So I have to ask, are you over Kansas yet, or is that still sting?
It's going to sting forever, man. There's that one. A lot of people have told me, "Oh, you're a part of history. You're going to love this," and you know what? Maybe one day I will, but right now it sucks.
Yeah, because everybody wants to be a part of history, but they want to be on the right side. And I get it. I thought you won the race. You thought you won the race. Everybody thought you won the race, and they go back and look at it in 0.001 seconds behind Larson. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's right now it's just the closest loser ever, and that's it's not a really cool stat to talk about. It was a heck of a photo finish and all that, but until we get a win under our belt and get ourselves locked into the playoffs and are truly able to say, okay, that one, while it will always matter, we've been able to overcome the slight miss on that day, then we'll look back and say, all right, that was neat to be a part of, and we're going to be in the highlight reel forever, but it's just not that day yet.
He drives the number 17 for RFK Racing. Chris Buescher on the line with us.
Chris, it's an honor to talk to you. Chase has all the really good questions. I have the ones kind of like, wow, what's going on there in that guy's head? Do you still know where your trophy is for your first win at the 2010 Menards 200 presented by Federated Car Care? Do you have that trophy still?
Oh, man. I don't know where that's at, actually. There's a chance it could be at my parents' house. There's a chance it could be in storage at my place. My parents have moved to the Carolinas in the last couple of years, and they may have given it back to me in a pallet of stuff.
Right.
So, I don't know where that one's at currently, and I'm glad you just aired that out for everybody.
Well, hopefully you can get another trophy next week in Nashville when you come here. What do you like about this track, and what kind of stands out, makes this track unique from other tracks on the circuit?
Well, it's certainly unique. The simple fact is it's a big track to be concrete. I've got a lot of laps there, actually, when I was probably 15, 16, 17 through those years, and I had just started over here at RFK. I got to do a lot of the testing for the Cup cars when a lot of the other drivers were staying busy, and obviously I understand now how taxing our schedule is. And so I got to do a lot of the testing, which usually fell at Nashville. So I have been there on days when it was 8 degrees outside and there were icicles falling off the catch fence as we were making laps. And I have been there when I feel like it's been 102. So I've gone through a wide range of emotions. The racetrack itself has really been a lot of fun coming back to and really rejuvenating area for racing has been a lot of fun. I like concrete tracks. I love Dover. Bristol is unapologetically my favorite, and we've been able to run really well on concrete, and Nashville carries over into that. We've had a little bit of rough luck at that racetrack specifically, but certainly looking forward to getting past that and showing what we're truly capable on another concrete surface.
Chris, you've had success at every level. Is there a common denominator with everything that you've done to kind of get to that success at every level that you've raced on?
You know what? For me, I would like to think it's largely due to the fact that I've worked on my own stuff growing up. I've volunteered to help on the race team until I was finally fired and told they were real professionals at this level. But I like to understand what I'm driving, what's underneath me. If I feel something on the racetrack, I want to be able to say, you know what, it feels like we've got something strange going on in a left rear truck arm. That's not what we run anymore. We're not in truck arms. But I've always appreciated the work and the effort that goes into it. It's helped me be smart in my decision-making during races. It's helped me to be a clean driver that is able to bring home race cars. I think it's been important through the years to say, look, if we have a car capable of finishing fifth, let's go figure out how to make it fourth or third, and let's not wreck because we think that we could finish second in a Hail Mary attempt. Let's make sure we make it and improve a little bit. And that's really led me a long way. It's been something that Jack has appreciated here a lot through the years, and has helped me be competitive but be smart in a lot of different situations that I've been through in my career.
Are we still a giant Green Bay Packer fan?
Yeah, that's putting words in my mouth too, ain't you?
He knows how to read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to see. Wouldn't that be so cool, though, if you got to drive one time with a car painted and looking like the Green Bay Packers?
That might be one that I would intentionally hit the fence with. I don't know.
Chris Buescher is here with us. Ally 400 coming up in about a week and a half at the Nashville Super Speedway. So are you and Reddick cool now after your run in? Or are you guys kind of still staying away from each other?
Within reason. Yeah, within reason. We've had a calmer conversation since then, and I'll give him a lot of credit. He reached out that week, and actually Monday, and I wasn't ready to talk Monday, but we have had conversations, and we've gone through it. And ultimately, I at the end of the day, I never wouldn't expect somebody to go for a win, right? I mean, want to be in that same situation. I just, when it happened and we both ended up finishing, I think in the 30s for both of us, it just completely erased everything that we worked hard for that day. If we were coming to the checkered flag, went in the corner and we run all over each other, bounce off the fence and come across the line with a flat tire and say, hopefully you're still able to win, but say you finish second or third or even fourth if it just happens that way. But at least you can say, all right, we were racing for the win at the end, and we didn't wash out our day. And I think that one really hit me hard because of the fact that, without a win, you're not locked in the playoffs. So you do have to be mindful of the point side of things. As much as I hate to admit that I hate points racing, but without a win in this system, you have to be aware of it. And so to go from a chance to win a race and lock ourselves in with, worst case scenario looking like a second or third place day, we turned that into a day where we worked really hard for stage points on the day and did everything right, and ultimately came home with almost nothing. So we've had that conversation, and like I said, he reached out and apologized for it, and I think we have an understanding. We're not buddies at this moment, but we're at a point where I think we know where the other stands.
Yeah, for sure. Chris, always a pleasure to talk to you. Good luck not only this weekend, but at the Ally 400 here in a couple of weeks. Looking forward to seeing you there. And again, always enjoy the chats.
Absolutely. Thank you all. Hopefully you have a good day. And again, look forward to seeing you there in a couple of weeks.
Wake up with Robbie and Rexro.
let's do something unique.
Yes.
You hear the music. Let's talk to the mayor of Knox County. Glenn Jacobs is on the line with us, and he's better known, of course, to me and my wrestling crowd as Kane. Mr. Mayor, how are you?
Hey, doing great. How are y'all?
Doing fantastic. Thanks so much for doing this. And, you know, I don't know how many speaking engagements you get introduced as Glenn Jacobs or as Kane, but I'm sure it's a mixed bag.
It sure is. It depends on the audience and the venue, but both.
Well, I'm glad you answered to both. But what's kind of it been like around Knoxville with the run that the Vols have made in Knox County? I know it has to be exciting to see them, you know, just a couple of wins away from being national champions.
Yeah, it's super exciting. You know, anytime that Tennessee athletics does well, it's good for our community. We saw it with basketball when they were ranked number one few years ago, as well as football when they did so well and are really on the upswing. And now the Vols, the baseball is just, my goodness, they're a juggernaut. They've become arguably the top program in the country. Tony Vitello might be the best coach in all of college baseball. So it's really exciting to see.
We're talking to Glenn Jacobs, the mayor of Knox County. Mr. Mayor, what's the effect of a run like this? Do you see it now? Do you see it in a month? How does this all work?
Well, obviously, really what it does is there's some intangibles. People just feel better about themselves, their civic pride, you know, something to be proud of. We'll see more people eating out, staying in town, coming to the games and all that sort of thing. So it's good for our economy. But like I said, it just kind of helps the morale of everybody. Not only, I think, in Knoxville, East Tennessee, really across the entire state.
I'm going to ask you probably the easiest and softest question of all time. When the university is running on all cylinders like it is now with, you know, baseball, football, basketball, how much more fun is it for your job, your staff, and for the city?
Yeah, it's great. Danny White's done a tremendous job as AD. You know, I harken back to the years when the Lady Vols were just the powerhouse in women's basketball with the three-peats and everything. And, you know, that really put Knoxville on the map as the epicenter of women's basketball, women's collegiate basketball. It'd be pretty cool if we could do the same thing now with men's baseball. But again, yeah, my job is a lot more fun because, you know, just people are all talking about it, seeing what's happening. And again, I think just the entire community, really everybody feels good right now.
The mayor of Knox County, Glenn Jacobs, and WWE Hall of Famer Kane is on the line with us. So, you know, obviously your main job now is to be the mayor of Knox County, but you still show up from time to time at different WWE events. How special is it that you're able to put the mask back on and kind of play both worlds, and they help each other at times, but how awesome is it that you get to do that?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. You know, I have my foot in two different worlds, not only with politics and government, but also still a little bit in entertainment, professional wrestling. That makes me unique. And what's kind of cool is sometimes when the politics gets me a little down, I can be like, well, at least I can have fun in the other world. But they also complement each other. You know, I'm able to do some things that I think are really unique as far as bringing some entertainment value to the office of Knox County Mayor, which no one else could do, obviously, because of the nature of who I am. And also with things like the Vols, the run that the Vols are having, and I can do some stuff to really promote that in ways that other folks can't. So it really is cool.
WWE has entered a new era, as they're calling it, with Triple H, a guy that you fought many times. Maybe he was an ally at times, you know, on screen. But what's kind of been your thoughts of what Paul Levesque, Triple H, has done with WWE since he's pretty much been in power?
Yeah, Tripp has the best mind in the wrestling business. It's amazing. And I think that the entertainment value of WWE has really just gone through the roof. There's been a sea change across the entire product line. We saw that with NXT when he was running NXT, and now we're seeing it on the main roster as well. Again, I cannot speak highly enough about his booking and wrestling acumen, it's truly amazing. And I don't think there's a better person to be in charge of the creative component of the company right now.
We're talking to Glenn Jacobs here on the Jason Big Joe Show on 102.5, 106 The Game. Mr. Mayor, I didn't pay attention in civics class. I don't think Chase did either. What's the difference between the Knox County mayor and the Knoxville mayor?
So they're two different governments. And even though the city of Knoxville is geographically in Knox County, it's a separate political entity. It confuses people because in Tennessee we have county mayors. They're in other states as well. They're just called judges, judge executive, county executive. But basically, we run everything in the unincorporated areas of our particular jurisdiction, our particular county.
Oh, okay. Very cool. All right, Mr. Mayor, what are your plans for this weekend and watching the Vols take on Texas A&M in Omaha?
Well, I'm just going to enjoy it. Hopefully we don't have the drama like we had with the walk-off win against Florida State. But also hoping for a big victory, man, and they can bring back the College World Series title in Knoxville. That'd be pretty dadgum amazing.
Yeah, how many years have you been the mayor of Knox County now, sir?
It's going on 6 years.
6 years. What have you learned about that job and about yourself in those 6 years?
It's a great job. I've had the two best jobs I think that anyone could ever have. WWE superstar and also the mayor of Knox County, Tennessee. At the same time, we're talking about UT Athletics, and to see the resurgence of UT Athletics across the various platforms has been really neat. And to, I talk with Randy Boyd, who's the president of UT. I talk with him every once in a while. And Randy always teases that when UT Athletics is doing well, he's the best university president in the country. When they're not doing so well, he's not, even though he doesn't really control that other than making the hires. But it's just neat to see all the momentum and the enthusiasm. When we went through a very tumultuous period with UT football, which eventually led to the hiring of Josh Heupel, as well as Danny White as the AD. And that almost seemed like it ushered in a new era for UT Athletics. So it's really going to be cool to see and interesting. And really, I'm really optimistic about the future of the University of Tennessee Athletics.
Did we lose him?
No, I'm still here. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you now. Sorry. You kind of faded out there for a second.
Yeah.
WWE Hall of Famer Kane and the mayor of Knox County, Glenn Jacobs, is on the line with us. So you can probably guess that I asked the wrestling questions and he asked everything else. But WWE did a really cool documentary a few years ago on you and how they created the Kane character. Because look, I remember the Dennis character that you did, and the fake Diesel, and there were all these different things, and then you become this character synonymous with WWE and the Undertaker. What was those early days like when you knew you were going to debut? You're going to be the brother of the Undertaker. You had Paul Bearer with you, and then history just kind of made its own course, and you were able to do that for 20 to 25 years.
You want to say that in the moment you realize that all that was going to happen, and you're excited and anticipating great things in the future. But things move so quickly, especially at that point in WWE, that my main concern was doing a good job that night and then showing up the next night and doing a good job there as well. So all of that's really just a blur to me at this point. I do think back to that debut and how the table was just set for the Kane character. I mean, if I couldn't pull that off, that was actually my last shot. So there was a lot of pressure on me. But at the same time, now you look back, you're like, man, that was literally historic. And I think that's one of my biggest regrets, actually, is that I wasn't able to slow down enough to think and to absorb what was happening. The Attitude Era, obviously, the greatest time in WWE history. I mean, for 2 years, we sold out every arena that we went to around the world. But again, we really weren't thinking about that. We were just thinking about doing everything that we could to be the best, then moving on. It's always funny. People talk about the Monday Night Wars and how great it was. Well, it wasn't great if you were involved in it, because if we lost the Monday Night Wars, we were probably out of a job. But at the same time, that kind of pressure really made you perform much better than you otherwise would have. So looking back now, I really enjoy it. At the time, it was work, man, just trying to do the best you could.
And you actually had like 2 incarnations of Kane, because when you took the mask off, the character went in a completely different direction. So how fun was that to kind of reinvent yourself, like at the, kind of the halfway point of your career?
Sure. Then you move ahead to the Team Hell No stuff, and really were able to add a comedic element to the show and a different dimension to Kane. I always thought that was a challenge, because I think that people would look at me and, he could do this, but he was very limited as a performer. That's all he could do. So what was neat about taking the mask off and putting the mask back on, then being with Daniel Bryan, which again was pretty much a different character, was that I was able to break the mold and to show folks that I had range as a performer that they probably didn't think that I had. And you're exactly right. There really were multiple incarnations of Kane, but the big difference was the masked Kane and the unmasked Kane. And they were almost, completely different characters. They had the name and kind of the history and some of the legacy, but otherwise, the personality and all that stuff was completely different. People ask me why'd I ever take the mask off. Well, because I was getting stale, frankly, and that really breathed new life into my career. But who would have thought that I'd still be doing that, 25 years later or whatever it was.
We're talking to Glenn Jacobs. He's the mayor of Knox County. And sir, one of my best friends, and I've forgiven you for this, is Reno Riggins. And I think one of your first wins in WWF was beating Reno. So I've forgiven you. We've come a long way. So thank you.
So, well, hey, man, actually, I owe Reno a lot. This would have been, I guess, 1995. I was on Smoky Mountain Wrestling. I had a tryout match with WWE, and Reno was my opponent. And that match went really well. The main reason was because he was a terrific performer. So he pretty much helped give me my job in WWE. So thank you for forgiving me, but thank you to Reno, too, for helping me get a big break there.
Was that right after The Undertaker saw you in Smoky Mountain Wrestling? Is that how you got the tryout?
That was actually, I think that was actually before Undertaker and I had our match in Smoky Mountain Wrestling. And I think that probably helped actually lead to that match, because I think that piqued Mark's interest and curiosity about this big guy and whether he could have a good match with me or not.
You guys obviously are close in your careers and the storylines, whether you're against each other or with each other as brothers of destruction. How close did you become out of the ring?
Oh yeah, we're pretty good friends. Anytime that I need something, I call him, and I think that he feels the same way. And I'm really, really glad now. Mark, it's cool that for years he was so protective of the Undertaker and that character. That he never did anything out in public outside of that persona. And it's cool now that he's doing things. He has his one Dead Man show. He does his podcast, which is really popular. So I think it's cool too that people, kind of like with me, they can see the person behind the Undertaker. And I think the old school thought is, well, that destroys the character, the persona. I don't think it does. I think what it does is it actually adds to it, that people can see there's a real person behind this and what that person is really like. And I'm really glad that he's had those opportunities and has taken advantage of them.
Well done. Mr. Mayor, one more question. We'll let you go. And I know you're busy. Thank you for doing this. It means a lot to Chase and I. All right, what's your feeling? What's your vibe for this baseball team starting tomorrow night in Omaha?
Oh, I think they're going to win, man. They find a way to win. They're having fun. They've got some great players. Christian Moore might be the best player in college baseball, and they perform under pressure. That's the thing. A lot of times you see teams, and if they're down 4 runs or whatever in the ninth inning, they're going to wilt. But not these guys. They come out and they they get it done. So I think Texas A&M is going to have a very uphill climb in front of them, and I think the Vols will come home as the College World Series champions.
Well, Mr. Mayor, this has been a lot of fun. Thanks so much for doing this. And I hope that Jerry Lawler was able to find another private dentist because you got a lot going on. But, thanks. I had to.
You did have to bring that up, didn't you? At least at the end of the interview. Hey, thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
WWE Hall of Famer Kane and the Mayor of Knox County, Glenn Jacobs, joining us here on the show. A lot of fun.
Yes.
And how funny is it? You know, you talk about Reno all the time.
Yep.
That was like one of those matches. And then there's, you know, for those of you that remember, Jerry Lawler, one of the storylines was he had a private dentist named Isaac Yankum, DDS, and that was all right. Hope you enjoyed that interview with Glenn Jacobs, the Mayor of Knox County, also known as WWE Hall of Famer Kane. Want to thank the Live Tour for having us out here today, and also Houston Clinic Orthopedics for being a great sponsor for that. Jared returns on Monday. Joe, that's going to do it for us.
Fun show, brother.
Absolutely. We'll be back at it Monday at 9 a.m. Hope to see you then. Enjoy the Stanley Cup Final, game number 6 coming up in 30 minutes or so here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game.